Hi there, it's Jeff. In this video I'm going to show you people how I've hidden my workshop compressor, and it's mainly to address the noise, when it's constantly kicking on, working right beside my workbench. So I'm going to show you how I've addressed this situation, and it's basically by containing it in a box sort of scenario, insulated, to keep that noise down. Okay, I've got the door open now inside this box sort of setup I've got here where the compressor sits, and I'll just run through quickly with you what materials I've used and how I've contained the noise a little bit with this. We start off with some structural pine framing that I've made. It was basically just a frame. It's actually started out as a frame to support the dust collection bag on top. And then it was just a frame set up out of pine, and then I thought about putting the compressor underneath instead of storing stuff underneath. So that's how that actually started, about making this compressor box underneath here. And what I've used is the majority of the insulation is this dense foam. I just got it from the local hardware shop, and it comes in sheet form, and it's around about 1 inch thick. I think it's about 30 millimeters thick, so a little bit over 1 inch, sorry. So, and it cuts quite easily. You can cut it with a track saw, or even a sharp knife blade if you really wanted to. And yeah, so it comes in sheets, and it has a sticky backing on it. And what I did was, with this frame inside, just if you think of it like like your house frame with your empty in between studs type of setup, I put this foam in between this framework to fill up the void, as you would with insulation or insul wool. And that is another good insulation property too, by the way, if you wanted to have some thick, dense insulation in between. And you can see some of that in the back, which I've used on all the walls of my workshop before I've panelled it. So I've put this in between in the framing. Then I've sheeted it with some around about 16 millimeter particle board. And you want something that's dense, ideally, if you can. Up the top here, I've used 18 millimeter particle board. It was leftover actual, same as the bottom here, it was leftover actual flooring, like that you use in your house. But yeah, so I've just put insulation inside. I've also sheeted it with particle board all around, and then I've put another layer on the inside, which is what you can see in here. And even up the top here, so inside here would normally be a void, I filled that up with actually more of this board, just to make it dense. And then as you can see, the foam on the inside here as well. The other thing I forgot to mention also is the door. The door is just 16mm white melamine. So that is the outer skin, or the door. Then I have another sheet of particle board on the inside. And then I have a sheet of this insulation, so for double thickness. And it's made basically so it's a nice snug type fit when it closes. And it marries up to the rest of the insulation on the inside, which will help. That's basically all I did in regards to insulation. I've put a ventilation or a vent going through the back wall, just to let some airflow in, because this compressor can get quite warm if it's running, especially in summer. It's a cast iron unit, so it does retain a bit of heat. I've set up with a power point in the back corner, so it plugs into there, but then I've wired that power point so you can switch it on and off from the outside. And that's basically how I turn my compressor on, from the switch on the outside. I've made it illuminate, so it reminds me that the compressor's on, because, and I have very early on in the early days when I first set it up, left the compressor on accidentally and haven't checked. So that's why I've made that light switch on it, so it lights up, so I don't forget that the compressor's on, otherwise it'll kick on, you know, all hours of the night and so on. And from here I've run air line going out. It goes up the top and it goes to my hose reel, which is set up near my table saw. And basically, yeah, this contains a lot of the sound, and I'll show you some comparison decibel readings with the door open and with the door closed to show you how much actually the noise reduction that you do get. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of a decibel test now, just to show you the difference that this box makes. Just with my mobile phone, it's just an app, a decibel app. It's nothing too fancy. But yeah, as you can see, I'll stop talking and I'll show you the reading on the decibel app, and then we'll turn the compressor on. Well, as you can see by the decibel readings, that does make a significant difference with this installation and the encaging this compressor. I think it was, our calculations was roughly around about 18 decibels it dropped. So it peaked at 83 and it stayed at around about 65. So to me that's quite a significant reduction, which really does help. But then again, this reading was pretty close to the door here. I'm never going to be working right in this situation close to this box. I'm working a little bit, a couple of meters away at my workbench there. And of course, if you have the luxury of, you know, situating your compressor away from, you know, your workshop, or even outside your workshop, even better. But in this small contained workshop environment that I don't have that luxury, so this is my solution for that, and it works well for me at the moment. Don't forget, there are some other there are some little tweaks you can do to your compressor to reduce the noise a little bit. I found that playing with the air filter on my compressor, and my compressor is quite old, it's an old pulley pump style compressor. It's got to be at least 30-40 years old, but it's still working fine. I contemplated upgrading it, and I looked at different compressors. If I did have to upgrade, I'd probably go back to this type of pulley cast iron pump setup, because it's just the most reliable compared to the direct drives, which can be even noisier than these. And I've looked into the Chicago type of setups, the Teflon type of oilless setups, but I've looked at reviews and videos on YouTube where, you know, they just don't last and you have to replace those seals. So I was a bit hesitant on getting one of those, but they do reduce the noise. They're not as noisy as these as well. So if one of those type of setups was in this box, the reading would be even lower. It might even be down to like 55 or something like that, which could help you if you like that situation. But containing it in this type of setup, as you can see, the results don't lie. It does help. And by the way, I'd just like to say thank you to my subscribers, my followers out there. We've just reached the 1K milestone during the week, so that's fantastic. Keep following, and I'll keep making some videos that will hopefully help and inspire some people out there to do the things that we like to do in the workshop. That just about wraps up this video. I hope you did like it. If you did, thumbs up, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for those that aren't subscribed to me, so you can keep up to date with my latest videos. And hopefully I will see you in my next video.